the word range, a few things probably come to your mind. Maybe you think of a ranger, someone who watches over mountains or national parks. Maybe you think of range of motion, being able to move your joints fully. But that's not the range that I mean. I mean your range, or as David Epstein calls it, your habits of mind that allow you to dance across disciplines. Epstein writes about this dance across disciplines in his book called Range. This range can alter your mental health, your work, even your passions. Now, I'm an English teacher, so I love a good didactic tale or example. So here's mine. I was driving my friend and coworker Kate one weekend when she looked over at me and said, "I've got to find something that can help me totally de-stress from the day, something that doesn't have anything to do with my work." By the next weekend, she had figured it out. She beamed at me, visibly more happy and relaxed than I'd seen her the week prior. "I finally figured out what I can do to start my day right," she told me. "I wake up early, have my cup of coffee, and I paint." As soon as Kate said this, what I'd been reading about in Epstein's book became clear. Kate doesn't identify as an artist, but she's found out that doing something totally outside of her comfort zone refreshes and jumpstarts her day. See where I'm going with this? This would be the part in my English class where I'd ask my students to tell me the theme. My version would be that Kate has discovered our need for the powerful combination of range, leisure time, and cognitive exploration. Epstein suggests that we should use our leisure time or make time to explore new disciplines outside of our comfort zone. So think of your own leisure time. Do you watch TV and scroll through social media? Or do you have habits of mind that allow you to dance across disciplines? Now, I'm being a bit hypocritical here. I usually pick the more passive actions, but something changed this year, namely my class list. I took on yearbook. Quickly, I needed to learn how to use a certain design program, Adobe. I hit the metaphorical Adobe mud brick wall many times. I spent hours frustrated with making selections in Photoshop or masking images in Illustrator. When I finally learned each challenging skill, I felt exhilarated. I started working on graphic design in my spare time, learning more difficult skills using YouTube videos. I felt my creativity opened like floodgates, which you can see by my dragon-sized cat and sphinx-sized cat here. Professor James C. Kaufman, who is a professor of psychology, suggests that when we learn a creative activity with our spare time, then it can help our mental health because we're not worried about our fears or other things going on in our lives. A creative activity can put you into flow, being totally immersed in what you're doing. He says it's not that different from a runner's high. Kaufman suggests that these activities can lower harmful mental stress as each one, like putting loose clothing onto coat hangers, makes your thoughts and organizes them into a closet, so to speak. It helps free up space in our brain, much like a closet. Researchers Gruber and Davis say that when we do multiple projects at once, not to be confused with multitasking, we can have some amazing benefits. Each project can end up cross-fertilizing the other for the better. Your ideas have time to process, and switching between each area of skill keeps your drive up. By the way, getting process time for your ideas is the foundation of those seemingly random aha moments that we have when you're washing dishes or you're mowing the lawn and suddenly you know what you're going to say on your essay or anything else. The researchers call this combination of good things a network of enterprises. Dr. Eskelman, in his study of corporations in 2014, found that creative activity was positively associated with control, relaxation, and performance-related outcomes, such as job creativity and extra role behaviors. In other words, workers' hobbies, like a business exec learning to juggle or studying axolotls, actually benefits your company's performance and the work culture there. Dr. Art Markman, who's a professor of psychology at UT Austin and an executive director of the IC2 think tank, says that we should become expert generalists. Expert generalists have a high openness to learning and a high need for cognition. He claims that Picasso was an expert generalist, as Picasso used his Western art techniques combined with elements of African art to create the Cubism movement. He also names Johannes Kepler, as Kepler used his knowledge of light and magnetism to understand the forces moving planets. Both drew analogies between two disparate bodies of knowledge to make great strides, something that can only happen with high openness to learning and a high need for cognition. Epstein says that the ability to produce long-range analogies, connections that bridge concepts across content and skill areas, these are what make work breakthroughs happen. In other words, if your brain is comfortable all day long and it's the same one day to the next, you're doing it wrong. Andre Geim, Nobel Prize winner and Ig Nobel Prize winner, the Ig Nobel Prize is for unusual achievements in research, has a time when he does Friday night experiments, where he explores totally trivial ideas. It was this time that led to his Ig Nobel Prize winning experiment of levitating a frog by its own magnetism. To this day, he's the only person to have won both prizes. And Geim says that he doesn't do research, only search. However, I offer a word of warning. I see students saying yes to every extracurricular activity under the sun, all for the sake of college applications. This can be a damaging approach long term. Greg McCune, author of Essentialism and Business Strategist, says this: "Only when you give yourself permission to stop trying to do it all, to stop saying yes to everyone, can you make your best contribution towards the things that really matter." If you're wondering where to start, Elizabeth Gilbert, author of Big Magic and Eat, Pray, Love, has a suggestion. Think of the things that make the words failure and success essentially become obsolete. What are you passionate enough about that you can endure the most disagreeable aspects of that thing? Whatever it is, whether it's making selections in Photoshop or building brick pizza ovens with YouTube videos, do that thing. Scientists, grab that paintbrush. Artists, try your hand at coding. Engineers, pick up the guitar. As of today, Kate is still watercoloring every morning, and I'm still creating graphic designs. My hope is that we will both continue making ourselves uncomfortable in new fields of cognitive exploration. My exploration, though it contrasts sharply with my work and educational experience, is making me better. Thank you.